Greetings, everyone. So I decided this morning I wanted to talk about narcissistic collapse. And yes, I keep talking about making the narcissism channel. I'm going to. I have another YouTube channel floating around somewhere. I have to go find it. However, I think it's important to talk about narcissistic collapse. So as we know, narcissists are only around you for what they can get. And that is called narcissistic supply. Users, abusers. They only see you as a transaction. It's all they see you as. However, a lot of them are very good at tricking you into thinking they love you, they care about you, they want to be with you, they're going to marry you, they're going to have kids with you, or whatever their guise is. They might be the hero narcissist. Oh, I'm out here fighting for freedom, or I'm out here fighting for abused children, or whatever their guise is, because they have a lot of them. Just like us caring, compassionate, empathic people, we're all different, so are narcissists. A lot of them are, I would venture to say all con artists are narcissists, and some of them are sociopaths. So, and again, how I learned about this is because I was dealing with family members that were like this, as well as a lot of workplaces and a few friendships. And I started realizing something was not right, especially when you're being gaslit all the time and you're confused. So anywho, a narcissistic collapse is when the narcissist, their narrative is falling apart. One thing they cannot stand, they just can't stand it, is when their false narrative starts falling apart. Because they build their entire life, their entire essence, their entire being on this false narrative. And what I've learned in the last few years, because I fell for some lies, is that if you ever meet a person that immediately is telling you how great they are, that they were, I always use the same boring examples, but they were top of their class. They were the best salesman in their company, or whatever bullshit story they're giving you. I'm telling you guys, and I fell for it myself, back away slowly. Because anyone that is secure in themselves and feel good about who they really are will not have to have a story about who they are. They just don't have to do that. And as we're seeing in this day and age, we're seeing a lot of these so-called charismatic leaders who are narcissists. And I truthfully believe a lot of these charismatic leaders are not narcissists. You have to see their intention and their motivations. I use Bob Proctor as an example. I think his heart was as pure as they get. And I never met him, but I just got that feeling. Like we're seeing, and I'm not talking about just Diddy, because Diddy's like, that's in another realm. But we're seeing certain individuals that are supposedly these great guys. I'll use Bill Cosby as an example, right? He was supposed to be the all-American father on the Cosby Show. Well, and whether you believe what he did or not, I believe it. I believe it 100%. So anyways, that was his cover story. He's like this pure, innocent, wholesome father, right? But when their narrative starts to fall apart, they lose it. They absolutely freaking lose their shit, man. And that is usually when you will see that person lashing out at everybody. And as we know, they never, ever, 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 you will never, ever see a narcissist take responsibility. And if perhaps they pretend that they are taking responsibility. It's all just a guise, or it's a show, because they don't want people to really know how awful they really are. And they might give a false apology and never act on it. You know, that old expression, action speaks louder than words. I was once dealing with a narcissistic individual whom I initially thought was a friend. And when I started seeing through her bullshit, she started losing it. I don't call myself eyes to see for nothing. But again, you know, I can fall for it too. I mean, the thing about these individuals is that they are so freaking good at what they do. They're so good at manipulation, and so good at knowing how to pull people's heartstrings, how to manipulate their emotions for gain of themselves. But when they're collapsing, this is the time where they freaking, and if you've got I would say a malignant, which is like the most extreme narcissist, which probably there's a very super fine line between that and sociopath, I imagine. That's when it could get dangerous. Again, it depends on the individual. But now is when they are going to start, they're going to start lying about other people. They're going to defame other people. Because what this does, and it's very much like false narratives in our environment, in our societies, is that they have a lot invested in these false narratives. And the minute that you start poking holes in it, you're the enemy. And again, a narcissist will never, ever take responsibility. So what better way to deflect responsibility than to start talking crap about everyone else, right? I mean, I always wonder about people that are just doing that all the time. Like, I stay away from folks like that. And they make it so desperate that they perjure themselves. They make it so desperate that they blame another person and try to get another person to take the fall for the crime. I mean, we see that in prisons and criminal activities all the time. And I think a lot of people that commit crimes, and I'm not an expert on that, guys, but I think a lot of people that do commit, you know, I'm just saying all across the board because there's all different crimes. I think some of them are narcissists. I think some people are just idiots that, you know, made a bad choice and then they're like, oh, what did I do? Or they might fall victim to being around the wrong people or something. Or they have a moment of desperation and then they do something that's really not like it's not really who they are. So anyhow, the point I was making on that is that we see criminal people or criminals turning on each other all the time. And I'm not vilifying every criminal, because I do think that there are some people that are sitting in jails or prisons that there's some good in them. I do. I think there's some people that they have good in them. But again, then you're going to get the psychopath, narcissists, and the sociopaths that will stop at nothing for a con. We've seen that recently. So, yeah, the narcissistic collapse, they're going to start projecting all the things that they've done to other people onto others. They are going to spew so many lies that they will not, even if they're very smart, they will not be able to keep track of all of the lies that they've said. Because now they're in desperation, they know the truth's coming out, and they will stop at nothing to avoid persecution or to avoid being caught as projecting something that's not true. At all costs. They don't, and I think that if you go all the way up the scale, you know, like say if you had like a graph, if you keep going into the more, like the higher and higher, what's the word I'm like, the higher and more explosive kind of behaviors, the anger and the dangerous acts, etc., those are more sociopaths, in my opinion. So I'm trying to name off different things that I can think of that a narcissist might do when they are collapsing. Blaming others, which is also deflection. Projection. They're going to accuse other people of doing exactly what they do. And then there's going to be certain individuals that just will not address what you're asking them. They won't address it. As if, like, if they don't address it, then it doesn't exist. You have the more cowardly narcissists. I mean, in my opinion, I think a lot of them are very cowardly, but you're going to have the more cowardly narcissist that is going to go and, like, pick on people that are not their, you know, it's that old saying, like, bullies always go around picking on people not their size, you know, on the playground. That's what they do. That's what they do. It's like there's a YouTuber right now. I guess this person, whom I had a bad vibe about, is running from the law right now. That's what I mean. Coward. Coward. And believe me, when you have certain, I'm just saying men, but I mean, there's a lot of women narcissists too. But when you have a man who's like, I'm an alpha and I protect women, and I'm just saying in general, like I've seen this several times with different guys. Those are the ones that always get busted for being con artists. So, because if you have to go around and telling everyone that you're doing it, then it's not real. So, what other things do they do that I can think of? Oh, of course, well, I said the lies. But they will create completely intricate stories about whatever is being addressed. So, let's see, I'm sorry I keep saying Let's see. Say that you saw a narcissist steal a green truck, and you were in town. You saw him on Charlie Street stealing a green truck. You saw it with your own eyes. They're going to turn it around, and they're going to say, you were the one stealing the truck on Charlie Street. That's the kind of things they do. And the more adept and more advanced a narcissist manipulation is, the better they will be at telling these stories. I personally believe, like, at a certain point, you need to, like, wake up, right? And many years ago, I decided I'm not trying to lead the horse to water anymore. Like, especially, and I'm kind of going off here, but like on the truths going on in our society, I'm not here to teach anyone. You want to go off to the slaughter, that's on you. And another thing that they do in the narcissistic collapse, which is basically they do this all the time regardless, they have no concept of what boundaries are. Or if they know that a person is trying to set a boundary, they will on purpose try to break through those boundaries intentionally. So some narcissists will cry their little eyes out to get, and that works with some people. Me personally, where I'm at in my life now, and not to say I don't cry, you guys, I do cry too. I'm not saying I'm some kind of like sociopathic person that has no empathy or compassion for people. But I'm very wary of people that cry all the time. No, oh, no, wait. This sounds really bad. Okay, let me reframe this. Let me reframe this. I don't mean that people that cry all the time. What I mean is, if I see people that are crying all the time and it feels like a manipulation, that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say. That is exactly what I mean. I don't mean, some people have been through awful things. Or you might have a person that has like a serious mental health concern. I don't mean that. I mean, when I see somebody crying all the time and it feels like their crying is to manipulate others. That's what I mean. I get very weirded out and nervous when I see that. So yeah, the narcissistic collapse, they might do that. They might start screaming and hollering and saying, I'm gonna take you to court. Or they might say, I'm going to file a police report on you. They love, if they're able to do it, they love to use the police against you. Like, we're seeing that, like, you guys know, I love to watch BJ Investigates. And a lot of the things that she covers, especially the wealthy, love to use the courts against people. So, and I don't think it's just wealthy, but the wealthy have the money to just throw all over the place. But that might be something to do. I'm going to take you to court, or I'm going to get a restraining order on you, or whatever it is. And meanwhile, in the midst of all of this, they never address the things that they should be held responsible for. They never will either. Ever. Ever. And if they might make a false attempt to pretend as if they are taking responsibility, but they never do. They never do. I think of one really easy example would be a father who fathered a child and won't take responsibility. That's one thing. And I'm talking about a father who knows that he fathered the child and he won't take any responsibility. So, what else do they do in the collapse? They threaten people. They love to threaten people. And a lot of times, too, depending on what type of narcissist you're dealing with, they're very aware of the narrative, right? They're always aware. Because they're always manipulating. They're always weaving the story. They're always trying to make themselves look a certain way. And honestly, a lot of them are very good at it. And absolutely, I've fallen for it. I have fallen for it. But when they're going through their collapse, which I didn't really explain. So I explained a little bit, but the collapse is mostly like, what it means is, now this false narrative that they've been pushing on everyone is starting to fall apart. Because that's how lies are, you see. Truth always veers through the lies. And this is when either enablers or flying monkeys start to disappear. Especially if they think they might go down as well. Like, whatever's going on. They might start to disconnect. And again, like I've said with flying monkeys, sometimes flying monkeys know they might be partly narcissistic themselves, or a flying monkey might have no idea. They know something's not exactly right, but they don't know how diabolical and dark and evil it is, that what the narcissist is doing. So, yeah. Distraction. I think I've already covered that. So distraction, deflection, projection. Oh, let's not forget triangulation. That's a favorite. Which means they're going to turn other people against each other. That is their... You will never know a narcissist without knowing triangulation. And a lot of people call it different things, but it's basically turning people against each other. A lot of, I would say, not the, what's the word I'm looking for? The covert narcissists are not so much wanting to be in the spotlight, and those ones are freaking dangerous, you guys. But the more grandiose narcissist is going to want to be popular. They're going to want, like a woman, which I've known one of those, we're very like, I have to have my teeth bleached, I have to have this. No shade anyone trying to look good, but like that's all there is. Like they have to look like they're some type of movie star every time they walk into the restaurant. And again, no shade to some of the celebrities. Some of the celebrities just don't want to be bothered. But I mean, I was trying to make that clear because I'm not like, we're talking about the narcissists as well as the narcissistic behaviors. And they clearly don't care about anybody but themselves. No empathy, triangulation. What's the other one? The main one. Triangulation, no empathy. I don't know. There's 3 of them that's usually like the main ones. But then you have the false narratives, very important to them. When that starts falling apart, they just lose their minds. And they will twist everything. They will twist everything. Oh, I was going to mention a lot of them love the spotlight. So I was talking about they have to be the center of attention. So it could be that very beautiful female narcissist that loves to walk into the restaurant and everybody's looking at her. You know, or she's the focus of attention in the parade, or I don't know. I'm talking about the younger women. Or, you know, you have the pathetic 55-year-old narcissist woman who wants to still look 20. That's insane. Nothing wrong with looking youthful, but so they have to be the center of attention. Like if they stop being the center of attention, they lose it. That's another form of narcissistic collapse. Anger, you're going to see a lot of anger. And, oh, how could I possibly forget during this phase, they're the victim. They are always the victim. I'm trying to think of an example. Well, I'm just going to use a generic example. How many cases have we seen in the last 4 or 5 years of malicious, sociopathic men who arred women and made it about themselves? That you're going to ruin their reputation. My family cares about me. My family stands with me. Always, like, until the end of them going down, the DNA evidence, all of that, they never show compassion. It's all about them. And we could see this right now going on throughout Hollywood and other places. So I think I covered everything I could think of right now. So let me go over it again. Let's see. Loss of reputation. That's the narcissistic collapse. Anger. Fake crying. I'm the victim. Triangulation. Turning people against each other. Deflection. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Lying. Outright lying. Gaslighting, of course. Lying, stating they didn't do it, and then now all of a sudden we're going to talk about someone else, what they did. And they have no problem with defaming or libeling somebody. No boundaries. Projecting what they do onto other people. Rage. Well, anger's in there, but rage. It's like the narcissistic rage. Never taking responsibility. Twisting everything everyone has said. Or anybody, I should say. Twisting anything that anyone has said. I've been there. That's why I always say do not engage. The only answer is to do not engage. That's it. So you guys, I hope you have an amazing day. I'm off to get another coffee. Peace.